The game shows has created a new event, the New Year Warhammer Preview, to announce the future releasing for the next month instead of using other events. So it's really quite interesting. Remember that here it will be, for the beginning, a overview about what is going to be announced. Then we'll go to see about the focus for each article that has been listed for the announcement. And then remember also that in the description I reviewed the link about this Warhammer community article that it will be a sort of hub so that from here you can go to see some details or so on that you want to see better. So here we can start to see, and we can start from the Warhammer 40k with the Red Corsairs. So new miniatures about, it's really about the campaign for the end of the 10th edition. So it's really quite interesting about that. Then we had the part about new miniature for the Eldar, so Yriel, and also some other ones. So I think that it will be really quite interesting, moreover, because Eldar usually don't receive too much new miniature, and here it's a really nice way because there are a lot of things to see about. For the ones that love Eldar, I think that it will be really quite a breath of life. Okay, then we talked about the end of the edition, and after the 500 war, here we had the second part, the Maelstrom of the campaign of the ending of the 10th edition, and it's related about the Red Corsairs, so you can understand the link about the two of them. It will be really quite interesting. The book at the end, it will be similar to what we've seen for the 500 world, and okay, I think that it will be really quite interesting anyway. Then here you can see something that I'm gone crazy and happy about, the new Ossiarch Bonereapers. I was waiting for this since last year. I was hoping that they were going to be released at the end of the year, so to have all the 2025 as was announced listed about the death. Anyway, it's really quite interesting. There are some things that I'm not so happy about the releasing, not because there is not enough, but because there is something that is missing that I wanted based on what has been released. We'll see later anyway. Still, it's really quite amazing one. And here you can see one of the main part that is going to be released, and it's about a chariot. So, really quite interesting. Then we can see about the new Battletomes about Age of Sigmar, one that it's related about the Lumineth Realm Lord, and one related about the Disciples of Tzeench. So I hope that it will be 1 month related about the Ossiarch Bonereapers, because there are tons of things to release, and I think that another month it will be related about both of these Battletomes released, because we've seen 2 Battletome released together, for example the Fish, the Courts and Night Hounds and so on. So I think that it will be 2 months cover about this for Age of Sigmar. And then we can see about Bubble, and we see about the High Elves, the new method about this squad, okay, of this team of Bubble available. So it's really quite nice. We see some details that are quite amazing. Then there will be something new related about the Sacred Rose, and it's about for Warhammer Plus series about videos and so on. I think that it will be quite interesting for the ones that like such things or make the subscription to the Warhammer Plus. And then again about the Warhammer 40k, but it's here related about Horus Heresy, new Custodians. There are updated models for models that has been yet released, and some new ones, moreover vehicles and so on. Remember that they are obviously compatible with the Warhammer 40k. You have to think about eventually the vehicles, but we see about them more in detail. So it's really quite interesting about, because they're quite nice, and they're also women Custodes, even if some of the faces were painted really bad, in my opinion. And then we can see about the Horus Heresy with new vehicles, and it's really quite interesting because they are really quite massive and quite beautiful in my opinion, so not bad. Some of these technically we have yet seen about them, but it was about the Legions Imperialis. Here it's on a full scale of Warhammer 40k, so a bit different. And then some preview, okay, some I can say tip about what is going to be released next, and it's about the Iron Warriors. So I'm quite curious to see it will be about a codex, so quite intriguing eventually, or maybe it's related for what we see about the Red Corsairs, that will be a third part of the campaign. Anyway, it's really quite interesting to okay, there is some tip eventually. So now let's go to see about the Fox parts and have fun. So let's start from Warhammer 40k and the red Corsairs. And here you have quite a lot of things to see, because you have, for example, the new models, and they are all quite amazing. I quite like these ones. You can see them more in detail here. Here you have Huron that we have yet seen, okay? And sincerely, I quite appreciate this model, because it's simply fantastic, even if I think that there will be tons of people that will create some conversion to have a double power fist, okay, because it's really something amazing. I quite like also the pet that it is bringing about, not bad at all. It's really quite impressive model, in my opinion. Then we have this, that it's Garon the Corpse Master. It's the Lord Apothecarian of the Red Corsairs, and it's really quite amazing. Sincerely, I would like to have such model to convert for my Blood Angels, because it's really quite amazing as really the backpack and so on. It's really quite amazing, and you can see that it's experiment from the Red Corsairs itself. So it's with a specific background, but it's really quite nice. Then here we have Qatar Galix, the Headsman, and sincerely, I don't know too much about this model and this character itself, so I'm quite curious about. I'm going to go to deep, okay, about this one in the future, but it's really quite nice. I can see that it's a sort of chaplain eventually, not bad. Then about the librarian, we have here Gallon Solita, that it's the Tyrant Witch, and the obviously the Tyrant it's Huron itself, okay. It's okay, quite simple then as the librarian, but quite nice. I quite like the details, see about the stuff, see about the scrolls on it, so it's really quite intriguing. Then we have a model that sincerely I fall in love, and it's Captain Sargotta, that it's the commander of the Reign of Spite. Sincerely, here you can take this model off from the base and use for something else, that could be an Inquisitor or something else, because it's really perfect in every ambientation that you want to put about. And the base itself, it's something that it's give even more vibe about such model, because you can see that it's simply amazing. I like this, sincerely. I would love about. And then something really quite interesting. Here we have the Enforcer, that it's the Urus Prey Hunter, and it's a Tarelian, okay, a different race. It's really quite interesting. It's a bounty hunter that it's a lizardman. So we've seen the lizardman about Warhammer 40k before the ones in the old world, okay. Since it's quite amazing, I think that armor is a sort of Tau version, because it's quite cooling about the vibes of those ones. I like both the lizardman itself and the beast, that it's dog, we can call it like this. Not bad at all. Sincerely, I'm quite scared about thinking that you maybe in the future will release an entire army about. We've seen something like this for the Vespid and for the Croods of the Tau. Sincerely, this I risk to play with, so I'm really risk to buy if they're going to use. Not bad. Then we can see about the battalion that it's going to be released, about the battle force, okay. Here we can see the contents that are inside. So we have 10 legionaries, 5 Chaos Terminators, 10 Tritos Guardsmen, 10 Red Corsair Raiders, and the Raid Captain. Sincerely, I think that it has quite a lot of nice options. We can see much better about the various ones. You have the new Red Corsair Raiders, and it's really quite nice. See about the mods are simply fantastic. Really, this you could buy even to play with the Space Marines, and they are really quite perfect. Eventually, you can change the shipheaders so that it's not really about red crosses, but they're fantastic. And you can see that are almost a entire combination of different marks, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's really quite intriguing, and you can really have a personalized one. I quite like. And sincerely, it has really quite a lot of potential, in my opinion. They are quite amazing. I love for both the heads, that usually I don't like too much, and the pose itself, how they are positioned. It's really quite nice. I really quite love such models. They are really quite fantastic. They have the Reef Captain, and it has really quite a lot of potential too. And sincerely, here I change something if you have, because it would be a perfect model to change. It could change, for example, the jump pack, and it would be perfect as Space Marine. Okay, you have to take out take off from the model the part about the red Corsair symbols, but it's really quite intriguing and I quite like. And here also the models that are inside about the battle force, so we can see about the legionaries that are really quite intriguing, the terminators that are okay, not bad, sincerely I quite like these terminators of chaos, and then the guardsmen, so it's really quite intriguing about. And remember that you have also the red Corsair brigades, so you can personalize them even better. Okay, there are not too many, and then there are some pieces, the shoulder pads, and a couple of weapons and some accessories. Sincerely, I would have thought to have much more, and it would be quite nice because having some different equipment about the weaponry and so on, it would be really quite interesting. And okay, you have also the deckers that could be eventually useful. So not bad at all. It's everything that it is about the records, but sincerely I think that it's really quite nice because we can see that has been brought new amazing models. Sincerely, I don't think that someone has to say something about the beauty of such models because they are really quite nice. So okay, nice. I'm quite curious to know about your opinion. Are you going to shut up and take my money, or okay, I take them and convert some of them, or okay, nice, I'm not interested, but they're anyway nice. Still, after seeing some of the mod that has been released about Warhammer 40k, sincerely, Space Marines ones, see these ones make me birth of finally they come back to have good models released, so not bad. And okay, then we can continue about Warhammer 40k with the other faction that it's involved with the second part of the campaign for the end of the 10th edition, and it's about the Eldar, with new miniature about Yriel and its Corsairs. So it's really quite interesting to see, and I think that the Eldar will appreciate quite a lot having new option available. So here we can see the battle force, that it has the new method that we see. So we have Yriel itself, we have the Psyche, we have all the infantry new one, and also the new vehicle that it's the Viper and the alternative option of the Viper itself. So not bad at all. We can see so better in detail about it that it's really quite an amazing model, even if with this position and this shield it seems that it's going to play some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, okay, but still it's really quite nice. I quite like as model itself. Maybe I change a bit the base, but it's my opinion in this case because I think that it's anyway quite nice. Here we can see better details about, and I still think that it's going to play some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, okay. And for once I think that maybe I prefer it with the normal face instead of the helmet, but both combinations are really quite amazing, also because you can eventually buy and use for an Autarch or so on, so it's not bad at all. Then we had the Sky Rivers that are these new models that are available. So okay, it's another flying infantry that it's available, not bad at all. Okay, it's a bit redundant because we see that there is an aspect of warrior that it's about flying with Barrot, but okay, about the hooks, it's not bad at all anyway. Then we can see Custodes, that it's the Psyche, and I quite like moreover about the helmet that it's really quite amazing. I quite like such type of helmet, really, and I think about using this in an army about Yanden, because I think that it's much intriguing to have about this, but not bad at all. Also this I changed maybe the base itself. And then we can see about the Viper and Starfang that are the new mod about the Viper, but with different options available. So here, since I prefer in this version that it's really quite nice, in really quite good, and I quite appreciate such model, much better than this one. Okay, still they are both available. Eventually you can study about monetize so that you can change the position about the back, because it's only the position about it, but okay, nice anyway, it's not bad at all. And I've had these Mewtwo that technically are not something new, and okay, nice have these and play with them. So you have everything about these Mewtwo's available, and I think that it's always quite nice to see some range that it's quite limited, seen an expansion about the options that are available. So not bad at all, and okay, quite intriguing in my opinion. And we just talked about the two main factions that here has been announced about the second part of the campaign for the end of the 10th edition that has seen the Red Corsairs and Yriel and its Corsairs. And here we have that. So I present you the Maelstrom. So here we have the book that is similar in composition what we've seen about the previous one, so the 500 words. So here we can see that we have the full book, so the part about the background, the part about the campaign, the part about the detachments to participate, and the part about the mission. So it's really quite intriguing, and if you are going to buy about this, I think that it will be a great collection if you have all of them. Sincerely, I'm keeping my hands out from this because I haven't liked this 10th edition and I don't care about buying such books. Still, I think that they are really quite amazing. I love the graphic of such books, sincerely, because they are amazing. And I think that anyway, the content will be, for the ones that appreciate this, really quite intriguing. So take note about, because remember that there are limited ones. So once that are ended, you'll not be able to find. So if you are focusing about having all, when they are available, buy them. Okay. And then we can see then that here we have a scalpel of what we've seen before, so we can see that it's the one that are the Corsairs that advance against the Yriel faction, so Corsairs against Corsairs. Then we can see some of the part that we see about the rules inside the various books, and we also some Maelstrom battalion announced. One, it's a little about the Durkari, so here it's not something new, it's simply something that you are going to have quite intriguing part. We have Lily Aspirants with a force that's going to raid around. And we have also one that is about the League of Otanju. It's really quite make quite a lot of efforts to promote this one because we see a lot of models, a lot of box listed, and sincerely they're worth, and they're really quite nice. So you have to understand if it's worth for the price, because anyway the models are fantastic, but it's depends by the entering price of this. Still, here we have completely a sort of little focus that we see in the next months, and I think that it's really quite interesting for the players of Warhammer 40k. It will be a good way because we can see that at least it's methodical than it. So we have seen the previous of 500 world with a lot of miniatures, a lot of things and background. Here we see also about new methods that needed a style, because both Yriel and Huron needed a style about the models themselves, and even a depth more about their background. That sincerely, I think that it's due. Okay, so it's not bad at all. So I'm quite curious also to know about your opinion about such and in campaign, if you are catch by it or you simply ignore it like myself, and you are only hoping that will arrive soon the next one that maybe should be this year, quite probably. So we see if they want to do this or the next year, but technically it should be in 2026 about the 11th edition of Warhammer 40k, and that I'll be quite curious, so I'll buy for sure the set box if I'm able. So it's quite intriguing, I think. I'm quite curious about your opinion about this. And then we move to the Age of Sigmar with the Ossiarch Bonereapers. Yes! Finally! I was waiting for this army since last year, because it was announced that it should have been all related about the Undead, and we've seen 3 of the 4 armies, because we've seen the Fascist Kurds, the Nethound, and the Black Cables. It was missing only about this, and since I was hoping for December anyway has been announced the part about Nargo, that was fantastic models, so okay. And finally here we have this army, so I'm really quite glad. There is something that I see later that I was hoping more, but really almost everything that we see is really quite amazing. And we can start to see about one thing. Okay, when you go to see about such videos on internet, remember to see about the video about Nagash and the Bone Tide, because it's funny. Okay, stupid but funny. It's really worth. Then we can see about the first model announced about this new ones, that is the Lich Cavlos on the War Chariot. And sincerely, I find it really quite amazing. I love all of these. The beasts, because it's amazing. They are sort of draconic ones that are really quite fantastic. I quite like Also, the part about the chariot itself, it's really quite fantastic one. Maybe I would prefer the with a bit more bone ones. Okay, still they are really quite nice. And remember that it's perfectly filmed about being with the Ossiarch, because Custodes itself died riding a chariot, so it's really perfect suited to have such things. So it's really quite nice. And you can see some more details about these ones, so not bad. Also, the rich covers, it's something that it's really quite nice. I quite like the design about everything here, not bad at all. But it's not everything, because here we can see also the alternative options. So the normal crew, we can see that they have lances, archer, and also maces. About the archer, it's important because remember that before this one, okay, has been released only a single archer. It was the one of the retainers about Canaan. Other than that one, there were not other archers, and it was so quite important one having this. Moreover, this it's a normal archer, as you can see, so it's peculiar. We'll see quite soon. And I really like everything about such models. It's really fantastic. I'm dreaming having an army of only chariots that move on the battlefield charging on. It's really something amazing, in my opinion. And it will be really quite expensive. I hope that in the future there will be maybe a box with more chariot available. To be quite a lot of saving. So let's go to see about the things that has been released then. One thing that will be quite important, and then also a Lich Mortec, that it's a lieutenant about the Lich Cabals themselves. I quite like its design, moreover about the pet, that it's really quite fantastic one. And this it's an option, because we have really various options that are for both the weaponry and the heads. Sincerely, I like the axe as weapon. It's a really quite amazing one. So it will be really quite interesting maybe to use also the other options to create some variant or so on from other models. I think that it will be really quite intriguing one. And then we can see about the Mortec T-axis, because here we have the archers, not technically complete anyway archers, because here we have something that it's a bit different. We can see from the head itself. Here, Custodes itself decided to make change the model about the archers, because remember that we didn't have quite a lot of shooting weapons in the Ossiarch, because we had the Mortal Crawlers, a bit with the God Sylvester, and a single archer from the units of Canaan. Other than that one, we didn't have any archers, so they were needed. Okay, we had the chariot that we've seen before, but there are new ones, also those ones. Here we have something that it's a way to supply this long range, so it's really quite interesting. I like also the here that it's really quite funny and nice. Moreover, we have here something that it's recall the part about Camry, because we have the options to make the flaming arrows. I'm quite curious to know about the rules for such models. I think that will be really quite funny about. And I like all the models here because they are dynamic, they are really quite fantastic, they're really wonderful in my opinion. So I'm really happy to have such miniatures available, because it's a way to replenish, because the chariot are welcome, but they were a plus. Here we have something that it was really needed, long range weapon that it's really something missing. And really, I'm quite curious to see if there will be going to be released in the future also some boxes with more than one unit, so that it will be better to have them. And then we can have the Mortis Reapers. And here we have something intriguing, because we have the Assassins. Here we have dynamic models. Here are sort of different ways, because they are quite contrasting the martial theme that are the Ossiarch themselves. They are dynamic. They are quite similar to other army assassins. Okay, not bad at all. Here, I think that they are perfect for armies like the Crematorius and Immortoi, because they have the theme about not only raising, but also infiltrating. So it's really quite intriguing about these ones. I change for sure the basis, because I prefer something else, but they are fantastic models. I love about these ones for sure. At least a unit in an army, I think that I use, because it will be perfect to go to combine with the Tactic court, so that I have more than one option to infiltrate in the opponent in opponent lines and so on. I think that it's really quite nice. And then we can see about the Battletome of the Ossiarch. Here we have the Battletome with the Mortek on the cover. And I quite like about this because I like that each edition has a different cover. Because in such a way I can recognize also the edition from the cover itself. I think that it's much better in such a way. And I quite like, okay, for sure I'll buy about that Battletome. But there is one thing that Anticipate 2 I don't like. It's not announced army set. It means that it's not a box where you can have an alternative cover of the Battletome and all the Minotaurs new ones available. And it's a pity, because when has been released the new set of Minotaur for the Fascista Course in the previous edition, I bought the army set. When in this edition has been released the army set of the Rough Rattle for the Subagavels, I bought it because it was quite worth. Seeing the new Minotaurs released, but not see an army set to promote them, I think that it's a pity. Okay, maybe in the future there will be the release. I hope still, because there is still a possibility. But okay, it's strange not to see about this thing. It should be a pity, and we see. But what we see right after this, we can see that it's quite not probable that there will be also an army set available. Then we can see about the battle force that is going to be released, that is the Nurmirian Phalanx. And here it's amazing, okay? But they are old models. We have Archon, that it's out of game now, but okay. We have the Sunmason, that is always welcome. The Morgas, two couple of them that are okay. And 2 units of infantry, but a Mortar Guard. So all old models. And it's really quite problematic, this thing, because if you go to see about in this same video the previous ones that I treated, the battle forces that are the one about the Red Corsairs and the Eldar, are all new models practically. So seeing that this it's only old models, okay, are you joking with me? Because where are the new models? I hope that when you go to be releasing the battle force, it's a little about the new models that you are going to be released, not the old ones, all the old ones. Think about having, for example, a battle force with a couple of chariot, 2 units of the T-Arcs, 1 unit of the Assets, the Mortek, and maybe another unit if you want, but I would have bought for sure. I was ready with shut up and take my money. I'm ready with the money. I not buy the units separately. I need to have those ones available, so to save. Also because I bought in the years to create my own army for the Warhammer, only boxes technically, so okay. And here it's a pity. They are amazing, but also I go to see about the spearheads available, and the Morgast, they have other options that are better to have them one with the heavy infantry. The Mortek has also another one, so you can combine having more, okay? So really a pity to see like this, in my opinion. Then we can see about the spearhead Cavalus Vanguard, and here don't misunderstand me, it's fantastic because have the org that it was similar, and it was from the Broken Realms, and it was one of the box that I bought to replenish my army of the Warhammer, and it had it had 2 units of the cavalry and the cavalers, okay, the Lich Cavalus. If you go to see about here, we have all that there was there, and another unit that it's important because it's the unit of Warcry, an infiltration unit that is the Terratic Court that I love, and I bought it separately, and I'm quite glad. Sincerely, this as a spearhead, I'll buy, because it's really quite interesting, because it had more cavalry, it had another Lich Cavalus that it's always welcome, always, and it has the Terratic Core that really give a better suited for having the cavalry one, the mobility, so it's really quite amazing, and good perfect combined with the other spearhead for the heavy infantry and for the infantry. So if I hope that they will mean, okay, do spearhead, you can create, combine all those ones, a perfect army of the Warhammer. Still, no new models, and it's a problem about this one. If you go to see about the Herald of here of the bone type for the Regiment Room. Had laughed because here we have Morten that you have seen that I published a video about having bought it at the end of December, okay, at December, end of November I bought and made the video for December. So okay, I bought it, but here go to see about what it's inside. So we have a unit of Immortals, or we can make the Stalkers, and a unit of the Mortar Guard. So okay, all old mods. Really, why not to make one with the new mods? Okay, I'm glad to have bought Book Morten before, because here, okay, a pity that I not buy this, but sincerely, the other units, I'm not so interested to buy these ones. And again, nothing new, old mods again. Really, it's something that made me really quite spiteful about, because I wanted to buy, but not buy only the new mods with the box separately. Because when I started the Ossiarch, I done it because I bought only boxes. I bought the Mortis National, it was fantastic. Then I bought about the Oroks, that it was fantastic to have the Chivalry. And then the other things that I bought are only refining, little things that it was okay to buy. But everything else, okay, it's done only because I combined the boxes, because otherwise I would never started the Ossiarch, even like it too much, because it was too expensive. And here we have again the same problem. So I have probably to wait till the December, because it will be with the Battle Force. Okay, should be at least. Or maybe I had to wait along the year, that will be some boxes that will be going to be released about. And sincerely, there are new mods. Not see a box that incentivate you, at least a limited one, to buy. It's a bit problematic, because really I was ready with my money. I was really ready to buy. For now, I buy if it doesn't change anything, because I have still the hope that with the future announcement for the rules and so on, it will be announced also an army set. Okay, we know that not, but I was ready to buy, and buy, okay, even double eventually, because it's really quite fantastic. Not see such a thing, it's a bit problematic, because I want to buy, I don't have the option to buy, because the single units are not a thing for me, at least in this way, because there will be too much. And I'm quite curious to know about your opinion. Are you ready to buy everything because you love the Ossiarch, and anyway you want to have everything day one? You are like me, waiting for, you buy for sure, for example, the Battletome, because you want to have the rules and you are quite curious, but you're not ready to buy the other things, or you are not interested at all, so okay. And really, this thing, it's a bit problematic, because I was hoping for more, and it's a pity, because hoping to spend money and not be able to spend, it's a bit okay, a pity. Still, the models are fantastic, so I'm really quite glad, and soon I hope I will have them, but I had to wait a bit. Then let's continue with Age of Sigmar with two new armies that receive a Battletome. So first of all, we can see about the Disciple of Tzeench with new miniatures included. We have this Fate Master that it's really quite an amazing miniature, I quite like. Eventually we can change a bit the head to have other armies available, because it's really quite fantastic. I quite appreciate a lot this model, sincerely. And it's amazing, I suppose, and so on. It's fantastic. And I have the Argent Shards that are Shining Fusion. Okay, sincerely, they recall me quite a lot about the part of the Nexus for the Ossiarch, the column here. Okay, and modified a little, but not bad at all. I quite like anyway the design. It's really quite Tzeench one. It's the definition I use. Then we have also the Battletome itself of the Disciple of Tzeench, that it's okay, not the best in my opinion as the cover, but anyway it's a new one. And then we have a Battle Force that it's related about them. So here we can see that it's all demonic. So we have the Chariot, we have the Pyro ones, and the Mantas, the Fate Weaver. So it's really quite intriguing one. It's nice for the ones that want to start with demonic army. And this it's useful for both Age of Sigmar and 40k eventually, so pay attention. Then we have also the Spearhead with the Tsangor for Flock. Also, this one could be really quite intriguing, and it's nice to have something in this way, okay? Because there is, other than the two ones that we have seen before, no new mods, so having something that make you collect. Here we have seen the part about the demonic one, here the mortal one available, so not bad at all. Also, this one, it's really quite interesting as option. It's a regiment unknown, but okay, nice. It's quite dynamic at least, and I quite like the mage here, so not bad at all. Then we can see about the Lumineth Realm Lords. Here we have this Vanari Lord Regent that it's not bad. It recalls me quite a lot Annarion as the armor self, so okay. And here we have eventually the alternative option to create about this, so you can have quite a lot of fun to create it. Then we have about the Battletome. About the Battletome, the Lumineth always give me the idea to have seen it before, but it's a new cover at least, so not bad at all. And it's really about the model that we've seen before, so right now, so it's really quite nice. Then we have the Battle Force that again, it's good for the ones that want to start because it gives you quite a lot of variety about the option, so you can create an army with a good start, so not bad at all. Then we can see also the Spearhead here that it's available. Also this one, it's another option that can be quite nice. So if you combine the Battle Force with this Spearhead, you almost have the mass part of the gamma about the models for the Lumineth, so not bad at all. We have also this regiment with the Siege Convocation that it's practically image with the spells. It's a way to add the spells, okay? Maybe saving a bit of money, it's a good way, okay? It's an option. So, okay, sincerely quite standard as releasing, maybe, but in some way better than we've seen for the Bonereapers. Still, here I think that they will be released together, as we've seen, for example, for the Night Hunt and Fish the Kurz and other armies last year. So we have a month with the Bonereapers and a month with both the Disciple of Tzeench and the Lumineth Lord together. So it's anyway quite nice. I'm quite curious to know if you appreciate what we've seen about the Battle Forces, the new methods available. If you buy for sure, you're interested, quite nice. And then let's move to Blood Bowl. And here we have a new team available with the High Elves team. So here we can see that the models are really fantastic. I like because they are really quite dynamic. They are really amazing, in my opinion. They needed a restyle, okay? They really need it. And we can see that they are really quite fantastic. You could simply take these and modify a bit and put them without any problem in an army of Warhammer Fantasy to have much better. For example, having heroes, champions, or so on, because they are really quite worth. Okay, the ones that have a ball in their hands, you should modify a bit more, but there are really quite a lot of potential for conversion. In my opinion, they are really quite fantastic ones. Nice. Okay, maybe the liner not so much, but okay. And here we have also the part about the accessories inside, so not bad at all. And here we have also the Blood Spike that it's related about the release of such team. So okay, quite simple. Then here we have also the table available related about the S2. So okay, nice to know. The ones that are interested about Bubble will be happy, I think, because it's a new team, official one available. So good. For the ones that are not interested, still they want to school be used for something else. So it's always nice to see about such model because they have quite a lot of potential. And then announcement that since I was not quite interested about that, it's about the animation for Warhammer Plus, and it's about penitence, and it's about the Sisters of Battle. Still could be really quite interesting because anyway it's nice to watch. Okay, if you have a subscription to Warhammer Plus, anyway it's something that it's quite glad to see, in my opinion, so not bad at all. And maybe we'll see some in the future that will record some scenes here. Okay, anyway, know that there is, I can say anything more about this one. And then we move to the Horus Heresy, which is something that made all the internet go crazy, and it's about new Legion Custodes. Here, first of all, remember that aside the vehicles that you have to verify the size, okay, because bigger, smaller, so on can change a bit. About the miniatures, if you want to use the ones from Horus Heresy instead of the ones from Warhammer 40k, you can do. Remember about this. Say this, let's go to see about what has been changed. Remember that has changed the size, so here you see quite a lot of difference, but they are really quite worth. First of all, we have this detachment that move to have a lot of models, new ones, so I suggest you to buy. If you want to have the new models, here it's something that you have to think to buy, because it's worth. So we have the vehicle, here we have the squads, the hero, and here we have also the Dread Contemptor, that it's always amazing. Okay, sincerely, I'm interested about this one only simply because there is the Dread Contemptor and the vehicle. See this? Let's go to see about, and we can see some more detail about the units. So here you can see that the Legion Custodes one are simply fantastic. I love about such ones. They are really quite amazing. In my opinion, it's really quite fantastic ones, really wonderful. And again, here you have about the vehicles that it's really wonderful. It's a grav, okay, but it's beautiful. You can have different options about the weapon about these ones. Then we have about Dread Contemptor, that also this one can have different weapons and so on, but it's fantastic because it's really dynamic in the pose, so really quite wonderful. You can change also the part about the weapon and so on, so you have different available things. So you can monetize, you can change based on what you need. I think that it has really quite a potential. Here you have the hero, that it's simply nice also this one. And see the amount of details that it has. I like because there is also the heads that are about the female. So remember that Custodes has both female and male. But remember that you can't know about this other than use the head and size, because the method for both female and male are exactly the same. So okay, then I had this that are the part about here, the ones with the wings, and here made me really go crazy, because remember that with the Sanguinary Guard they removed the wings. Here we find the wings on the models, and made me really go, why do so? Because they're amazing models, but you can't remove from one and other a unit that has those ones. Okay, so I hope that they will correct in the future the premise Sanguinary Guard. Okay, here we can see the other options for the vehicle that are available, so you can really personalize quite a lot, and I think that the monetization here will work really quite a wonder about. Obviously there is also the book about the Liber Custodes, and sincerely this I'd be almost curious to buy, because I know a lot about the Custodes, but have a book dedicated about them, it will be quite intriguing to have the background. I think that I see maybe some video from someone else that has bought it and then said if it's worth to buy, but take note about such book eventually. So okay, really quite interesting. I have to say that sincerely these models are fantastic. They spent quite a lot to present them along the video and suggest you to see, but along the video they may see also some miniature of female head painted awful. The problem it was not it was a female head, it was painted awful. Okay, the one that posted here it's painted okay, nice. So it was the only scandal that I can say about such musical. For something else, the miniatures are really beautiful, and sincerely the scaling about it was okay, because they had to be bigger than the premise. The old models were always feeling a bit shorter, and I have the old models because I bought, remember, the two Horus Heresy boxes, and had one of them that had the Custodes, so I'm really quite glad to see a renewal one. Still, the models are fantastic. Don't mind too much about the Custodes male or female, because at the end it's a background. I understand, and I subscribed that I was really quite picky when they said that they were, because it's really coming out from nothing about that one. Still justified and cool as you want, still understandable, but the Minotaur doesn't see anything if you put the helmet on, so does change really something, because it's not symbol by the armor, so you can only say with the head, or if you add the helmet in the background that you say that, okay, but still think about. So I'm curious to know about your taste. You like these new models, not you were waiting for, or you are only waiting that they are released so that you can buy them and use them in Warhammer 40k? Because, for example, I do that same. Okay, I'm quite curious about. And again, about Horus Heresy, new vehicles available. So we have this great super heavy special weapon tank that it's a Bane Blade, okay, with different turret, but it's simply fantastic. I like. And if you think that you've seen such vehicle before, it's because it has been listed lately in the Legends Imperialis. So yes, you have seen, but here it's in full size, okay, for Warhammer 40k size, so no problem. You can really personalize in a lot of way. I quite like as it is. And here we have the Whirlwind missile tank. Here it's fantastic. It's a Whirlwind that I bought sincerely because it's a Whirlwind as I want. Sincerely, I modified my Rhinos and so on, my ones, to have a different turret because I never liked the Whirlwind one. And sincerely, this instead, it's something that I appreciate. It's the only other one other than the Scorpius that it's wonderful, and it's a real Whirlwind turret, in my opinion. So quite amazing one and fantastic. Sincerely, I like and I do want such things. Then we have the one that it's this new journal, okay, that it's the journal Tactica available for these vehicles to play. Okay, sincerely, you have to decide if it's worth, not if you want something, but at least there are. And sincerely, for example, by myself, I buy the Whirlwind from the Horus Heresy to play because they are even better than the classical 40k ones, but it's a sort of aesthetic personal judgment. So it's up to you decide if it's worth, not, or you want simply the part about the journal. It's up to you. Still, okay. And then we have as last the preview about what should be the third part of the campaign for the end of this 10th edition for Warhammer 40k. Anyway, it will be in the Eye of Terror, so we know the location at least. And we know another thing. It's about the Iron Warrior, because if you go to see and scroll about, we can find that there is this symbol that this show depends. It's obviously the Iron Warriors, okay? And I'm quite curious to know about, because technically being the end of the edition should not be a codex lit about the Iron Warriors. So it will be like the Red Corsairs that we've seen at the beginning of this video. So new Minotaurs available and the rules in the campaign, so we end with them, and maybe it will be a way to have a new codex with the 11th edition. It will be quite nice. I'm quite curious. I doubt that there will be the release also of the Primarch of the Iron Wars too, but maybe I sincerely don't find so really pressing to have another Primarch revealed quite soon. Maybe I wait a bit more, but okay, it's something that I'm quite curious about. What you are thinking about? Do you think that there will be a lot of things about the Iron Warriors? There will be the Primarch revealed, or something that it will be quite fun? And what will be the opponent about the Iron Warriors? Because we've seen that has been released in couples. So for 500 Wars, we have seen the Ultramarines and the Necron. For here, for the Maelstrom, in these announcements, has been the ones related about the Red Corsairs and the Yriel and the Corsairs for the Eldar. So now it will be Iron Warriors against who in the Eye of Terror? I'm quite curious to know about what you are going to speculate. So tell me in the comments eventually. Quindi che dire di questo evento? Sinceramente l'ho apprezzato molto, anche perché c'era la cosa che gli Ossiarch. Io aspettavo, quindi ok, mi è piaciuto anche solo per quello. Però effettivamente una cosa che ho apprezzato è il fatto che fosse un evento a sé e quindi gli orari fossero papabili anche per me da seguire, quindi ho potuto seguire l'evento in diretta, che è stato molto gradito come cosa. Poi se andiamo a vedere effettivamente cosa è stato rilasciato, per quanto riguarda i Corsairs rossi, si può dire qualcosa ai modelli? Belli, nulla da dire, quindi ci sta e secondo me è qualcosa che incentiverà molti a prenderli. Per quanto riguarda gli Eldar, avevano bisogno di qualche rinfresco per quanto riguarda le miniature, qualcosa di nuovo, quindi di sicuro è benvenuto, a prescindere. Per quanto riguarda il Maelstrom, pur non essendo interessato, ripeto, a questa edizione perché mi ha deluso completamente, comunque chi apprezzerà sicuramente appunto anche questo, e gli artwork sono meravigliosi da guardare, quindi nulla da dire al riguardo. Per quanto riguarda gli Bonereapers, sono felicissimo, sono al settimo cielo, al sesto anche, perché effettivamente manca quel qualcosa per quanto riguarda i box con i modelli nuovi, ma i modelli nuovi non ho nulla da dire perché sono veramente molto belli. Osate dire qualcosa? Osate dire qualcosa? No, potete dire qualcosa, scusate. No, serio, a parte scherzi, sono veramente modelli, potete apprezzarli o meno, ma comunque hanno qualcosa che si sentiva il bisogno di avere. Manca quel quid in più che mi faccia spendere i soldi. Per quanto riguarda i Battletome, sia per i Tzeench che per quanto riguarda il Lumineth, credo che siano benvenuti a prescindere, con qualche modello nuovo extra, ok, però effettivamente vi permette di avere le cose aggiornate, quindi non è male. Per quanto riguarda Blood Bowl con gli LTF, nulla da dire per il team, perché secondo me è molto bello, a prescindere, che si apprezzano o no, comunque le miniature sono molto affascinanti e dinamiche. Ok, quello di Warhammer Plus se ne prende atto, perché sinceramente non è che posso dirci chissà che. Per quanto riguarda noi Custodes, sinceramente ci stava, ok? Sono bellissime miniature, secondo me ne vale la pena, sia quella a piedi che i veicoli, sta a voi valutare, ma sono molto belle, quindi se le volete comprateli, appunto. Per quanto riguarda i veicoli di Horus Heresy, ok, sinceramente se ne prende atto, se le volete prendete. L'unica cosa che credo che eventualmente uno che gioca Horus Heresy sia veramente interessato eventualmente è il journal, perché allora quello serve magari anche per finire la collezione o altro, per averle tutte ci sta, però effettivamente i veicoli li prendete se ne avete bisogno, non è che ci sia molto da dire al riguardo. Mentre per quanto riguarda le anticipazioni su quello che sarà, credo, la terza parte della campagna, ok, se ne prende atto, lì si può giocare un po' sulle scommesse su cosa magari sarà appunto l'avversario, su come si svolgerà, potrebbe essere interessante in quel senso, ma sono curioso di sapere la vostra opinione invece. Voi cosa ne pensate? C'è qualcosa che aspettavate come per me gli Bonereapers, qualcosa che vi aspettavate ci fosse e non c'è stato, qualcosa che proprio non vi è piaciuto, qualcosa che volete indicare, ah perché è uscito quella cosa lì, o semplicemente avete gradito anche voi, magari non comprete ma avete gradito, o qualcosa che volete assolutamente prendere. Scrivete nei commenti, anche perché sono curioso di sapere un po' magari quali sono le vostre anticipazioni, magari un tot scommesse per la fazione, per appunto quale sarà l'avversario delle Iron Warriors, o magari se avete qualcosa per le prossime uscite, se uscirà magari la mia set che sto aspettando e non sappiamo, non uscirà, per quanto riguarda gli Bonereapers stessi o altro. Insomma, sono curioso di sapere un po' la vostra opinione per questo evento stesso. Scrivetemi nei commenti. Ad ogni modo, from deynonmod it's everything. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell so to receive notification about new video, to comment under here about this video, or if you want to suggest me new videos. So, I hope to see you again to the next time.